Before we start the episode today, the students of the North Central High School YDSA requested that I share a short advertisement with you. These students are organizing an anti-fascist protest on Sunday, May 3rd at 3 p.m. at Monument Circle in downtown Indianapolis. They want to publicly oppose the actions of our government and seek to assert that young people refuse to accept a future shaped by fear. Thanks for listening.
The descent into a final solution is not a jump, it's one step. And then another. And then another. One, construct an interior enemy and use that enemy as both focus and diversion. Unleash and protect the utterance of overt and coded name-calling, verbal abuse, and use this ad hominem attack as legitimate charges. Three, enlist, persuade, and create sources of information and distributors of information.
Hello, my name is Michael Zarek. This is Third Space Indy. In 1989, a man named Ray Oldenburg wrote a book called The Great Good Place. And in this book, he coined the term the third place. This describes a place outside of your work and outside of your home that you can go be with others, build community, and just be, I suppose. And so I've made it my job to find people all over Indianapolis who are doing their very best to create these types of spaces. And today we're doing something a little new. We are talking to somebody who does not address herself as a politician, but is a politician nonetheless. You're giving me a cringe. And I think personally that local politics affects your life more than any other type of politics. So I think it's important to talk about how that affects your community in many ways. And so today we're talking to Karla López Owens.
Hi.
What is that? So Karla is running for county clerk.
I am.
First question. What is a county clerk, please?
Okay. So a county clerk, the Marion County Clerk's office is one of the more public-facing offices that we have in the county. Mm-hmm. And they do a lot of administrative duties. Anytime you have to go pay child support, anytime you have to go get married, anytime you need to get certified court records, you go to the clerk's office, mm-hmm. right? And you go to different places. There's, I think as of now, we have the location at the City County building, the one downtown, then we have Old Records off of Madison Street, and then we have the CJC, the Community Justice Campus, where newly built, and that's another option for people to go and do these transactions. That's on one hand. On the other hand, the clerk's office also is responsible for overseeing county-wide elections as the secretary for the Marion County Election Board. And in that, I think there's a lot of room for opportunities to get creative. There's a lot of tools that are being left on the table. And I think with ideas and a vision, we can really take these services that I just described and take them to the people and create this new wave of engagement that is unprecedented. And make local government a lot more accessible and representative of the communities that they were elected to serve.
Ooh, good answer. I appreciate you explaining that. we're gonna hard pivot, and then we'll come back. So Amy, your comms director, told me that we're at Ellenberger Park in Irvington. Amy told me that you have a story about why we're here, I guess, which I don't really think I know. So do you have, is that true?
Yeah, and it's a little complicated. It goes in and out, it weaves, through many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do my best to try and summarize it in a few sentences, a few minutes or more. But just a disclaimer, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. And so I just need people to be patient and try and, be patient and have grace as we get through some of those complicated parts. Okay. So back in 2020, there was a vacancy at the council level here in this area. And so then I was living here. My then city county councilor, Blake Johnson, was the person who sat in this seat, right? Mm-hmm. And so then, because there was another vacancy at the statewide level, State Representative Forrestal stepped down. So then Blake Johnson stepped in to the state representative seat, leaving a vacancy mm-hmm. in his council seat, right? Mm-hmm. And so seeing that there was a real opportunity for representation to be part of the city county council, I threw my hat in the ring. I filed the paperwork to try and fill this vacancy. And because it was a vacancy, it wasn't gonna go to all the voters, so not everybody was gonna be able to vote. The vote was gonna take place through a caucus. So that's controlled through the Indiana Democratic Party rules. And so from there, I was learning alongside everybody else. I came to learn that only 23 people were gonna be able to vote in this caucus, right? And those were called the precinct committee persons. So to become a precinct committee person, you can either be elected or you can be appointed. But because nobody knows about precinct committee people, nobody mm-hmm. knows that you can run, nobody knows that you can, that you have this option to participate in this way, people often don't run for these positions. So mm-hmm. then who gets to appoint them? The party chair gets to appoint them. And then what ends up happening is that you create this situation where the party chair then starts cherry picking folks who they know will do the party's bidding. And so it's stacked, right? Yeah. So to me, as I'm going through the motions of this caucus, it felt like a decision had already been made and we were just going through the motions, right? So I did everything that a candidate was supposed to do. I called all the precinct committee people, asking for their vote, asking for their support, and talking to them about why it was important to have someone like me who was representative of the working class communities of immigrant background and who'd been living here for some time, how important it was to have someone like me at the city council. And again, in speaking with the precinct committee people, it felt like a decision had already been made because mm-hmm. they were telling me that they were going to vote for my opponent, Jason Larison, mm-hmm. who had worked under the Hogshead administration and who was working in a contractual firm. And so there's a story there, which I will put a little pin on that. But people were seeing what was happening. It was me and then Jason Larison and then this wonderful woman, Francine Lee. So it was us three bidding for this caucus, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're doing, Francine and I are like trying to get people's votes, but the caucus members would tell me, I would support you, but I already promised the mayor I would vote for Jason Larison. I would vote for you, but I already promised Jason Larison I would vote for him 3 weeks ago. And I'm thinking 3 weeks ago, we didn't even know this was happening 3 weeks ago. And fast forward to the day before the election, blog posts resurfaced that Jason Larison had written. And in these blog posts, he said a lot of misogynistic, homophobic, sexist, racist things. And the blog post that stands out to me the most is the one that he wrote about immigrants. And in one of his blog posts, he said that immigrants are like weeds. You can either get rid of them by depriving them of sunlight or depriving them of jobs. And for me to sit here and be in the presence of a man that has said such awful, racist, hateful things about my community, and just look at him in the eye, or just like have conversations with him, and for him to not even acknowledge our existence, I mean, it was not good. It was demoralizing. It was humiliating, and people were mad at this. People were mad. How are you gonna? This person is clearly unfit to serve in this position.
Yeah.
And media covered it, and we thought to ourselves, surely after all of this, the city county councilors, a lot of them backed us and wrote a letter to the mayor, to Jason Larison, basically saying, you need to step aside and let this qualified younger person come into this role. Mm-hmm. Jason Larison did not step aside. The mayor did not withdraw his support of Jason Larison, and in fact, he defended him, right? He said that Jason Larison was younger when he wrote these blog posts. He was my age when he wrote these blog posts. And yeah, so then the mayor kept backing him. Then the day of the vote came. It happened here at Ellenberger Park, and all 23 precinct committee people showed up. Usually it's a DL process on the down low. Everybody showed up. I mean, we had the media here, we had a bunch of community members here, and the final vote was taken, and the vote was 11-12. So I lost by 1 vote with Jason Larison casting the deciding vote for himself, because he got to vote for himself. So he was the...
Wait, he got to vote for himself because he was already there?
As a precinct committee person.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
okay, so
when you...
I don't know if you
so
want to.
So this is why we are here.
Well, I mean, it's not why we're here, but this is just something that happened
Okay.
This is something that happened here. And I remember being in the... Should I keep talking?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember anytime I would walk by the park right after it happened, I'd be so sad. And
and what year was this? I apologize.
2020.
2020? Mm-hmm. So what have you been doing since 2020 or thinking about that has gotten you to the position to be like, I want to run for county clerk?
The same thing I was doing 10 years ago. The same thing I was doing 15 years ago. Working with the community, working to make these spaces more accessible, breaking down barriers, and making sure that everybody feels welcomed within these agencies and these spaces.
Got it.
So I can be a lot more specific if you want me to, or I can keep going down that route.
Yeah, so I actually want to take your story about what happened here at Ellenberger Park, which I think is in a lot of ways a conversation around like disempowerment of voters, and talk about why you think you running for county clerk is important. Because on your website,
yes,
the points you have, for example, you have reverse low voter turnout. How, like, what you mentioned strategies towards the very beginning, like what type of strategies or things do you think that the city or the county can employ to get people out to vote?
So I think before we go there, I think we need to address the hypocrisy from the Indiana Democratic Party, the Marion County Democratic Party, because one of their big talking points is, we want more engagement, we want to grow the big tent, we want to be inclusive. And ironically enough, the role of the precinct committee person, it's a neighborhood captain, right? The role of a neighborhood captain within the Democratic Party is to be that bridge between the communities and these agencies, right? So anytime someone has a question about registering to vote, deadlines, where you go, the precinct committee person is there to help you and be supportive in that role, right? Okay, that's the main role. Like, that's one of the ways you increase voter engagement, voter turnout, because now you have more information, you're empowering people. So back in February, we had an unprecedented number of people file to run for precinct committee person, to run for Indiana state delegates, an unprecedented number. okay? I don't think anyone has ran that. I don't think that many people have ran for these positions in a long time, because the party does not do a good job at informing the community about these rules. So what I did, what my colleagues did, what the teammates did in the grassroots movement is we had a very aggressive approach in informing people. And so for the last 2 years, we were hosting trainings, we were hosting info sessions, we were answering people's questions about the role that the precinct committee person plays within the party. And we had I'm not gonna take credit for getting all these people to run, because it was a team effort, it was a collective effort. And I think people are angry with the state of affairs, so that we had, again, an unprecedented number of people who want to be engaged and said, hey, sign me up, how can I help, right? Now, the party, instead of figuring out a way to welcome them and say, hey, let's make space for you, they went ahead and challenged 100 of these precinct committee persons and Indiana State Delegate filings in February, right? So this was in partnership with the with the Marion County Democratic Chair, so Myla Eldridge and Kate Tooney Bell, who's the Marion County Clerk, right? So she also oversees these proceedings, the challenges. And I'm sitting there at the City County building watching these challenges be heard. And I'm having a bit of a deja vu moment, because I think back 4 years ago in 2022, where it's the same people, just in different roles. So Kate Tooney Bell was the county chair and Myla Eldridge was the county clerk. So they just take turns, right? It's like the musical chairs of corruption is how I like to, envision this. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter who is in these roles. Their main goal is just to maintain that power. And so, yeah, they say rules are rules, but rules are rules only when they don't benefit them. Because I know I've seen them waive these rules. They have discretion, right? Like, I've seen them make exceptions when it benefits them, when they know that they can appoint people who will do the party's bidding. But when they see a fresh crop of new engagement, new voices, new ideas, it's like, ooh, we're not comfortable with that. Let's challenge all of them. And I mean, why should someone continue being engaged when that's how the party treats them? It's, again, humiliating. It's demoralizing. Young people were the ones filing. A lot of young people were filing for these roles. And I would get calls from people who knew that I've been helping folks, and they're scared. They're saying, did I do something wrong? I feel like I'm getting sued. What do you say to them? That is just not how you deal with people wanting to be engaged with the party. And so that's why we have historic low voter turnout. That's why we have low engagement, because these systems alienate folks. And that's just one example. And I hope I hope that I explained that in a way that...
Can I tie this into recent events?
Yeah.
So in Martindale, Brightwood, there is a large conversation / fight / political battle / whatever else you want to call it about data centers happening.
Yeah.
And our local city county councilor, Ron Gibson, who I guess you'd call him the guy who was elected into that position, went against the will of people. His house was shot up. I won't make a comment on that. But when you look at somebody who was elected by the people and is just totally ignoring what they want, why should people care?
I think that's even more the reason to care. Run against them, find a way to replace people who don't represent the people's values. And again, this is something that I think the party doesn't want you to know, but did you know that in order, say for example, you want to run as a precinct captain, you want to run as an Indiana State Delegate, you want to run to challenge one of these problematic incumbents, Did you know that you had to have voted in the primary as a Democrat?
For the past 2 times, right? Or is this?
Yes.
Okay.
But it depends.
Okay.
If you want to run for,
I only know so much.
but you're on the right track,
Yeah.
yes. If you want to run for precinct committee person and Indiana state delegate, you have to have voted in the last primary as a Democrat to be able to show up on the ballot on the Democratic ticket, right? If you want to run against a city council person, if you want to run against a state representative, a congressman, you have to have voted twice. So in the last 2 primaries, you have to have pulled a Democratic ballot, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
pretty
that's why,
disempowering.
at least to preserve your right to run against one of these problematic people.
I think that's a good answer. I asked a couple of people to give me some questions. One person asked me, what are your views on ranked choice voting?
I like it. I think that we...
Oh, real quick, for those who don't know what ranked choice voting is, ranked choice voting is effectively where you have a list of candidates, and when you go to the ballot, you're not voting for just one candidate. You literally rank them. So you go down the list. You go 1, 2, 3. I want to vote for Karla first. I want to vote for Michael second. And then you count up all the votes. And if Karla doesn't get past a certain threshold, she gets wiped from the ballot, basically. And all of my votes for Karla doesn't get thrown out. I then go down the rank, basically. So then my votes for Michael then get added on to him. And then when you get past that threshold, when they reach like 51% or whatever the amount is, that's when you would elect. So basically it empowers you to be able to select, to literally rank them in a way that, you go, oh, I prefer this person the most, but this person's second. But I'm not like throwing away the rest of my vote to nothing. That's what ranked choice voting is. So,
Yeah.
what is there any like scenario where the county clerk could empower people through that type of format? Like, what is the extent of the power of the county clerk to be able to empower people in that way?
In which way? In rank voting?
Well,
Or should-
yeah, or just like through maybe not ranked choice voting necessarily, but policy that affects the process of voting, if that makes sense.
Yes. I think the party and local offices could do a better job at differentiating what each role does. I think they keep it vague for a very specific reason, because they want to, I don't know, operate in secrecy. And again, when you pull back the curtain, you'll see that it's like a lot of people just like jumping back and forth within these roles, right? But the political branch of local engagement is through the Marion County Democratic Party. And then the government branch is through the Marion County Clerk's office, right? So it gets confusing because they just like take turns and it goes back and forth,
Yeah.
but each one has different roles.
Gotcha.
There's the political branch and then like the government branch,
Gotcha.
which is apolitical. And so I think that would require like a referendum.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's an option for us here as the laws are currently written, because Indiana is, we're just very regressive. We're regressive in a lot of the things that we're living through right now, especially what's happening at the Indiana State House. And I don't know that would be
Yeah.
something that we could see like, in the likely
we love
future.
the State House here. They're so great. Yeah. This question popped up to me. So we're living in a time where, for immigrants especially, it's dangerous to go outside. For people who are legal residents, lawful residents who do have the ability to vote, how do we preserve their safety when going to the polls?
So quick clarification
Oh, okay.
point.
Please.
I think language is important,
No, definitely. Especially in this case.
and using the right terminology is often the difference between knowing what your rights are and like making sure that you're not doing something that is going to prejudice you, right? So, because I do a lot of voter education, voter empowerment, and I get this question quite a bit. Only United States citizens are able to register to vote, right?
Which is different than a lawful resident.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a legal permanent resident is someone who would otherwise be eligible to file to become a U.S. citizen, but until the person goes through the naturalization ceremony and they get their naturalization certificate, they are not eligible to register to vote. And assuming that they otherwise meet the qualifications, they're 18 on or before election day, they have lived in the precinct where they're going to be voting in for at least 30 days. They're not currently incarcerated after having been convicted of a crime, and they're a U.S. citizen and a resident of Indiana, then they can register to vote. But that's important because it gets confusing with the residency component, because there is that residency. You have to have lived in the district where you're voting for at least 30 days.
You've explained basically everything I had written down.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Total aside, this is more city focused rather than county clerk focused.
Yeah.
What do you see as the top 3 priorities for the city of Indianapolis?
What do I see the top 3 priorities for the city of Indianapolis? So I think my upbringing shapes a lot of my outlook in what the city should be doing. And I am driven by what I think the needs are of the community. I grew up in poverty. I grew up in Mexico. And then, we came here to the United States of America. My mom worked at a turkey factory for a minute. And then thereafter, she started working as a cleaner. So whether she was in housekeeping or in janitorial services, she cleaned for most of her employment here in the US. And so because she always had like third shifts, and like the hours were all sorts of odd, we had to get really creative with how we secured the resources that we needed. So I remember like we would, have to take I don't know if this is still a service that Indigo offers, but you could call Indigo and arrange for a small bus to pick you up at certain times.
I think they do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you met certain qualifications. So, we would use that service. We would also take the bus downtown when we could to go to the city county building to secure court documents that we needed. And so I think accessibility is one of the main things that I want to drive forward. I get this question quite a bit, even though it's not within the immediate purview of the clerk's office, what my stand on public transportation is. And I'm like, let's expand it.
Well, I mean, how else do you get people into the polls to vote than to give them the ability to travel to it?
Right.
Yeah.
And Indigo at one point did have free bus tickets for folks to use the day of the, the elections, but I don't think they're doing that anymore. So maybe I can call someone at Indigo and see if we can bring that back. So accessibility is one of the things. I think that was a question, right?
Yeah, like what are the 3 priorities? So accessibility.
Accessibility. I think breaking down the barriers is also something. I need to clear my throat.
That's okay. Are the allergies getting you?
Allergies, and I've been talking so much.
That's okay.
Okay, hold on.
My strap is dying on my water bottle.
Okay.
That's really sad.
Your strap is dying?
Do you see this?
You're such a sustainable person.
I try to be.
Okay.
Sustainable person is a very kind compliment that could be taken in so many ways.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like.
Well, you rode your bike here, you know.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like my my personal intake of nourishment is bad for my personal sustainability.
I see.
But I did ride my bike here, and I do carry a water bottle nearly everywhere.
Yeah, it sounds like you employ methods that are sustainable. So, congrats. Okay. So, accessibility. Also, as a first generation Latina who had to overcome a lot of barriers to go to higher education, get my college degree, get my law degree, I have an understanding of what it's like to break down these barriers and just ultimately demand equal access to these agencies and to democracy so that all of us have a fair shot at participating. So I think breaking down those barriers is another thing, to the point of accessibility, but in a way that's more intentional, in a way that's more curated and in a way that is like really meeting the needs of the people and meeting them where they're at. So one of the things I want to do as the next Marion County Clerk is to take these services, any local government services, and take them to where the people are at. And I've seen what immediate progress can look like as the Director of Community Outreach with the Marion County Prosecutor's Office.
Yeah.
We support, co-coordinate, plan a lot of community-led events, right? And in 2025, our office supported, collaborated with, and assisted roughly 178 events. So I know it can be done, right? And that's just through the Marion County Prosecutor's Office.
Mm-hmm.
As the president of the Indiana Latino Democratic Caucus, our team in 2025 attended, supported, or co-coordinated around 78 events. So that's like over 300. And I know it can be done. Wait, is that over 300? It's roughly 300.
We'll take it.
So if I'm elected, I pledge to support, co-coordinate, collaborate, partnership, and have over 200 events throughout the city so that we're taking the services to where the people are at and just breaking those barriers down. I think it ties right in because a lot of people, listen, in my court docket that I oversee, I feel more like a social worker than a prosecutor because of all the needs that people come to court with. And it's never been more evident to me that, hey, we need more social workers, you know? So God bless the social workers because you're doing the good work.
Yeah.
But people have so many more needs beyond filing their paperwork, right? And I see how hard it is for them to access some of these systems. So we take for granted, you and I, we have a credit card. You know, we can make payments online. We have a bank account, so money can just be withdrawn and paid to these agencies. A lot of people don't have that, right? So how do we break, you know, that's just an example.
Well, actually, I went to go, speaking of voting, I went to go register to get my driver's license. Was that last week? When was that? Must have been last week. And there was a woman who sat down next to me who did not speak a lick of English, who was there for her driver's test. And her attempting to communicate with the worker there was like a little painful. Because like that person did not speak a lick of Spanish. And so she was like repeating her words over and over again, and then like laid down a form and like pointed at some Spanish on the form. And I was like, this is painful. I feel like there could be like one Spanish speaker in this office probably. That would be really helpful. So when you talk about like accessibility of government services, that's definitely something that I've personally noticed.
Language accessibility is a big thing. And of course. I mean, of course I would figure out ways to get creative and employ that. Yeah.
You're a member of the DSA. Do you talk about that?
I am a member of the DSA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been a member for a while.
I think I've paid my dues to the national one, and most recently I paid my dues to the local one.
Got you. Cool.
Yeah.
What about the DSA, like, do you like to tie into your sort of personal policy goals?
I really gravitate to this people first approach that I see echoed and that I see talked about within DSA. More than anything, now more than ever, I think it's just so important to build lines of communication, strengthen those lines of communication. And so as the president of the Indiana Latino Democratic Caucus, you know, I was in that role for 2 years. And then prior to that, I worked as because it's a volunteer-led organization. I was the chair of voter education for roughly 5 years. And so I'm always thinking, okay, who can we collaborate with? Who can we partner with so that we strengthen our efforts and we reach as many people as possible? And I mean, you know, again, through this people first approach, I think that's one of the, you know, the ways that I've seen us collaborate and like come together. And I'm appreciative of any time where there's someone who has a space, who has a table, who's tabling an event, because tabling events is really expensive. And so anytime someone's able to share their table and resources we just welcome that. You know, we do that not just with DSA, but with the Marion County Young Dems, with the Labor Caucus. Like, they've been very generous and very giving in what resources they have, you know, giving them to us, you know, as a community that is currently being under attack. I mean, we welcome all collaborations. We welcome all partnerships, because we need the help. We need so much help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Actually, you mentioned to me before we started recording, and you cringed when I said it in the intro. Why don't you like being called a politician?
I mean, it's not that I don't like being called a politician. I think politicians are slimy. I think politicians are corrupt. I mean, I know why people have such disdain for politicians. And yeah, categorically speaking, I may be considered a politician, but I'm also very critical of politicians. I'm very critical of these systems, and it's not because I'm a hateful person. It's because I care very deeply, and I want to improve these spaces. I want to improve. I want to make sure that we have people who are held to account, and I want to make sure that we have people who are listening to the will of the people. And right now we don't have that. So yeah, I agree with. I also have a deep disdain for politicians. I don't trust them. I think that once they get into power, it's like it gets to their head, and yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before I'm going to ask you more like personal questions?
No.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead and vote. If you have papers, freaking go out and vote.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll say it at the end too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, May 5th. May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo. You got this. You got this.
I keep saying May 4th. I don't know why. Oh, May the 4th be with you, like Star Wars.
Yeah, no, not that one.
Hey, let's move on to what I call the canned questions.
Mm-hmm.
Third Space Indy is sponsored by City Rising. City Rising is a social impact studio. Most recently, they implemented an eviction data dashboard that looks to highlight and reduce the impact of the 3,000 evictions, mostly affecting Black and Latino women Indianapolis faces every year. So if you want to learn more, you can go to cityrising.org.
Quick note, that should have been 30,000 evictions, not 3,000.
City Rising has sponsored a question, which is, what is a third space to you?
I think any space that is free,
Mm-hmm.
I would consider that like a third space. I mentioned earlier that I grew up with in a low-income, working-class home, and our options for entertainment were very limited. So when we came to the U.S., because I grew up in Mexico, right? And we spent so much time outside, so much time at parks, at the market. I mean, I love Mexico. Oh, love Mexico so much.
I want to go to Mexico City so bad.
You're gonna have a fantastic time when you go there. So Mexico City, you're gonna have a fantastic time when you visit. But a third space to me is anywhere that is free, where we can congregate. There's a lot of spaces like that in Mexico. And when we came to the United States of America, we just gravitated towards those open spaces, places where my sisters and I could play and run around.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we've just spent a lot of time in those types of spaces. Like the public library is another one. I have very fond memories of just being outside when I was younger.
When I mentioned that you live in Irvington, you like lit up a little bit. What do you love about Irvington?
The people, oh my gosh, there's so many things I love about Irvington. But I'm gonna say my neighbors. Mr. Goldie, I love you.
Mr. Goldie, is that what you said?
Yeah, he lives in front of me. Autumn. I mean, everyone's they're the best. But the people, the community that I feel like it was not hard for me to feel like I was at home here.
Mm-hmm.
And to give you an example, there's a group of protesters that gather outside of the Irvington Public Library every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m.
Yeah. Do they always protest the same thing or a variety?
I mean, I think overall it's like they're just protesting. We are protesting the current state of affairs. But a lot of times they have, no secret police banners. They have stances against ICE and like the treatment of people here in the country by the secret police that Trump has created.
Yeah.
And so for me to, when I'm driving home and I'm like, oh, hey, you know, there's Julie, there's the team, there's Shelly. For me to know that this is where I live, it's a great privilege. It's a really, I can't believe that this is where I live. You know, these are my neighbors.
There's a group in Broad Ripple. It's like they have a name for themselves, but there's a bridge that crosses Kessler in Broad Ripple on the Monon. And they are out there. I don't know what day they're out there, but every week also, they're also out there like protesting on the bridge. They put up signs on the bridge so the cars see, and they get honks, and they catch people on the trail walking and stuff. And just talk to them.
You know, thank you to all the protesters who are collectively standing in dissent of all of this. I have deep admiration and a great appreciation for everything, for standing up for us, and yeah, thank you.
Follow-up question to the question from City Rising. What is a third space or place that has existed for you previously that no longer does?
I think the public library that was at the city hall, because when I was little, that's where my stepdad would take us to. And again, to me, you know, coming from poverty in Mexico to coming to the US and seeing just like how easy it was for us to go to the library and like get books, check them out, and they didn't charge us anything. I was like, what? And the movies, I mean, I was just like shook as a little kid who went from nothing to then suddenly having all these resources available all around her. And again, I have very fond memories of being at City Hall, and because I know that's where the public library was at one point. And just like the grand architecture, I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I felt like I was in Paris, I was in Greece, I was not in, it like took me to another world.
Yeah.
And to see what it's become, it's such a shame. And because of poor leadership and greed and the exploitation of resources, now it's just sitting there abandoned. Como si nada. As if it was never anything, like como si nada.
Every episode, I ask a question from the previous guest. And it's really funny that he asked this question, because I was like, I might talk to a politician next week. The previous guest is Dominic Sinibaldi, the owner of Cathead Press. It's a t-shirt press, and also Love Handle, which is a restaurant. He asks, what is... Sorry, it's just really funny that I was talking to you, out of all people. What is the largest hurdle to start a small business in 2026?
I mean, I would say maybe lack of knowing where to start specifically. I feel like I've been going to the public library quite a bit with my answers, but right away, like the first thing that came to mind, because I get these questions all the time. As the Director of Community Outreach with the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, you're serving everybody. And if you cannot help them, you figure out who can help them. So I'm thinking, if somebody came and asked me this question, what would be the first thing I would say? And I think I would say, you know, the public library actually has like a hub of resources. There's a man who's very well versed, has a really great understanding of all the paperwork that someone needs. And mind you, this is for smaller businesses, right? It's not for big businesses. So while they may not have the budget to help you connect you with an attorney, they can get you off on the right start. So they have books that you can follow. As a matter of fact, I have a book that I checked out that this kind man recommended to me, because you know, Latinas are actually one of the fastest growing demographics of small businesses in the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. You know, we're innovative and we are creative, and we see the future, and the future is over there with Latina business owners and small business owners as a whole. But I think, the lack of information might be the biggest hurdle, and the lack of support. But that's why I want to figure out, okay, where are the resources? Let's grab them and take them to the people.
Yeah. I also think like starting a business I think about this a lot in the context of the podcast. Like starting a business doesn't look like you think it does a lot of times. I think it starts like on accident. in a lot of cases.
Or by necessity.
Or by necessity. Also, I know you're maybe not friends, but you know, like 1656 Club and Paloma.
Oh, yes.
I know you hang out there a good amount.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. I saw your sign there and I asked her if she knew you, and she's like, "Yeah, I love Karla."
Oh, Paloma's fantastic. Love you, Paloma. Great job. We're inspired by people like her.
Yeah. I don't know what else to ask. So you mentioned that your story, maybe, is that Uncle Mark? No way.
That was awesome.
That's funny that I got to experience that. I'm gonna keep this part in at least,
Yes.
where I have to explain what just happened. So, so my wife's uncle lives in Irvington, and he just walked by at Ellenberger Park, so I waved him down. Sorry, I have to talk about you
Go
too
ahead,
because it was so
yeah.
funny. And I just walked over to say hello real quick because I was like, oh, I have to say hello because I haven't seen him in a while. Let's go. And you immediately got
I sure did.
door, what do you call these? Door hangs?
Yeah, door hanger.
Door hangers out of your bag and ran up to him. You didn't care who it was. You just
No.
like, I'm talking to this guy.
That's right.
You don't know anything about it. He believes he's kind of a, he's like a Irvington liberal guy. He and his wife are.
But for the most part, everyone's against what's happening right now. So I knew that there was going to be that
Yeah.
level of seeing eye to eye.
And just, he was like, you were like, oh, are you going to vote? He's like, no, yeah, I don't really vote in the primaries. Is that like your all-star person is like, I don't really, I vote generally, but I don't vote in the primaries?
Yes. Yes.
So we talked Uncle Mark down, and by down I mean up to going to.
And he's going to go vote. And he's going to tell his wife about it too.
And that's what we've been told.
Love you, Uncle Mark. Thank you for exercising your constitutional right.
So funny.
We're all best friends in democracy now. I hope.
I just want to say, I always joke about bringing up my wife in every podcast episode, and we didn't talk about her once this time, but now we have to. And she's gonna love this. It's so funny.
You have a good family, solid people.
I don't really know what else to talk about. That was like a really funny capture.
I feel like that's a great way to end. I feel like what a great way to wrap up. I think that it just exemplifies. I will take every opportunity to engage with people and hear them out.
I feel like you had a really easy time there. Have you had harder times and gotten through?
Not really. No.
Okay.
I think people are fired up. People are angry, and now is the time.
Yeah, and
So
I
if
think,
go ahead.
and I also want to highlight that for you specifically, we're at a moment where your future job, ideally, inshallah,
Inshallah, yeah.
will help us next year when basically the entire municipal city government is up for election.
Yeah.
And if you feel any frustration with the current city government, you, the listener, and us sitting here, then empowering somebody who you trust to improve voter turnout, improve the accessibility of your life to nearly all government, what's the word, activities?
Yeah.
Services, that's the word I wanted. Having a little bit of foresight and having someone like Karla in place to be able to implement those over the course of the next year prior to the ideally flipping of the municipal government could be really powerful.
Yeah, I think.
Does that go? Good words? Sorry, I'm like hiccuping.
Yeah, those are fantastic words. Yeah. Yeah, I want to take the services that the government has and take them to the community, whether it's through the administrative side of the office and having, helping people with their certified court records, making a payment, child support payment, maybe making a payment on a judgment.
Yeah.
That's the administrative side. And then through the Marion County Election Board, making sure that people know that this board exists, what the role of the board is, and empower people to come and show up and learn and be part of these conversations. There's like 3 people that show up to these public hearings. And yeah, they're public, but what does that matter if nobody shows up? Nobody knows about them. So I want to make sure that people know that this agency is there, what the role is, and beyond that, just like what the role of government what the role of government is, and hopefully in that, get more people that will do the will of the people and have this be a more representative space. And through that engagement, create this unprecedented wave of civic engagement that truly meets the moment and moves us forward into the future.
Cool. One last question.
Sure.
What question would you like to ask the next Third Space Indy guest? And it doesn't have to be like Third Space focused or like government focused if you don't want it to be.
How are you using your privilege and your access to help others?
Great question. Oh, okay. Yeah. The person I'm talking to later today will like that question. Karla, let's round it out. Tell the people when and where to vote if they choose to, which they should if you are registered, we missed the registering deadline. So if you're not registered to vote, you're SOL.
Stop, they're not SOL. They can still register. You just won't be able to vote in the primary, but you can still vote in the general election in November.
That's good info.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah. So between now, okay, it gets a little tricky, okay? And I have more information. Please visit my Instagram. That's how I engage with people quite a bit. But we also have a website. I have an email that I do respond to emails. Okay, so between now and April 24th, you can vote at the City County Building, 200 East Washington Street, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then the hours get a little different because then the weekend hours will become effective, also at the City County Building. I don't have those in front of me, but then after that, like it just starts expanding a lot more because we're gonna get closer to May 5th. And the primary is May 5th. So you can find that particular information at Indy Votes. They have a website and all of that is like very detailed. So go there, you can come to our social media channels and get the information there as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Karla López Owens.
That's right.
Thanks for coming on. What's your Instagram handle?
K_Lopez, LOPEZOW.
Cool. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for the conversation.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening to this episode of Third Space Indy. Shout out to Uncle Mark for walking by and for voting in the primary. That was so funny. You can find me by going to @ThirdSpaceIndy on Instagram or by going to thirdspaceindy.com where you can find show notes and a blog. Thanks to City Rising for sponsoring the podcast, and thanks to our new sponsor, Proformus. Proformus is an urban planning and design firm that helps neighbors and communities shape the places they already love. Based in Indianapolis, they're here to make your place happen, one block at a time. And as always, thank you to the local artist, Jennison, for allowing me to use your song Scared Rabbit as the intro music. Thanks for watching or listening. See you later. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey.
Is that your uncle?
It's my it's my aunt's, it's my wife's uncle. How you doing? What's going on? Yeah, I knew you lived in Irvington, but I didn't know you lived like close enough to here. This is Karla. She's gonna advertise to you.
I sure am. Hi.
Okay, hi.
Hi,
How you
I'm
doing?
Karla López Owens.
Okay.
I live around the corner.
Okay.
I'm a deputy prosecuting attorney, and I'm running for office.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All
Do
right.
you vote in the primaries?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends.
Ooh, caught.
Don't. No.
I'm not going to. I'm not going
Okay.
to. But I was just telling him that, did you know that if at one point or another you wanted to run for precinct committee person, state delegate, or even run against
I didn't know this was gonna happen.
a problematic incumbent, you have to have voted on the, like in the primary. Otherwise you cannot vote, or you cannot run as a Democrat.
I don't plan on running.
I gotcha. I hear you.
Unless I really feel strongly about something, I vote in the election every year.
Yeah.
But I don't usually do the primaries though.
Yeah.
I used to, but it's like, then after a while, it's like, nah, I just didn't see the.
What's the point, right?
Yeah, well, that was in my opinion.
But I mean,
But anyway, so
it's
you're,
echoed.
okay.
It's echoed with everybody.
So you're running for.
Marion County Clerk.
Okay, so you're running in the primary.
I am, and I have a challenge. I'm challenging someone.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay. Well, in that case, maybe I will.
That's my boss. He's
Okay.
backing me fully.
Ryan
Oh, yeah.
Mears.
He's
Okay.
already elected.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I see him on TV a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's definitely, I think with his backing, I feel like it gives me credibility. I'm not just, some random person, but I want to reverse the historic low voter turnout. And to your point, I know it's going to be so hard. But listen though, to your point, people feel like they have no choices when they go to the polls, and I'm giving them, a choice.
I understand. Yeah.
And the county clerk also oversees countywide elections, so there's a lot of things that we could be doing in that role.
Okay.
That's my pitch to you.
Do you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
Can we take a selfie?
I hope you consider
with you
voting.
and me. Wait, she doesn't have to be in it.
I'll take it.
Oh, yeah. We just have to.
Then you can send it to Anna.
We got to send it to Anna.
Say, look who I ran into.
Oh, so did you know I do a podcast? Did you know that? Have we talked? When was the last time I saw you?
It was probably camping last year. I think it was maybe.
I do a local podcast about local people.
Oh,
and
okay.
I asked Karla to come on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The lighting's not bad here.
It's because the overcast came.
Yeah.
Look, will you look at that and tell me if that's okay?
Oh,
Sure.
that's an excellent picture.
That's a great pic.
Well, he's the one who.
No, it looks good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want me to say?
I just see my hair sticking out, but don't worry about it.
Oh my God! Not that.
Not the hair sticking out.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, that's so funny. Funny coincidence.
It is. So you
You gotta vote for Karla.
Okay. All right.
Or if you don't do it, tell your wife to, because I know she will.
Oh, well, I don't know if Joyce is. No, she will.
Please.
Okay, all
That's
right.
how we're
I'll let her
gonna
know.
get over.
I understand.
We don't have the political machine money from Joe Hogsett. We're literally so poor. So it's gonna be word of mouth. That's gonna really get us the votes that we need. People powered campaign.
Okay, I just might.
Please. I'm like, what else?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I'll tell you that. Before, I wasn't even thinking about it.
That's how it happens, I suppose. It's
Yeah.
just a little conversation.
I mean, it's not that far away from me. When's the election?
Give me a thumb up or thumb down on Joe Hogsett. You're like no Joe Hogsett?
I'm a this Joe Hogg.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like this.
We're anti Joe Hogsett here.
I'm more like this Joe Hogg.
Okay.
I've always been this way about Joe Hogg. But lately, with all this stuff, I'm not particularly pleased with the mayor
And Thomas Cook, he
Yeah.
was here during that caucus.
Oh, okay.
I ran for a special caucus in 2020, and I lost by 1 vote. And it happened here. That's where the vote took place.
Okay.
Yeah. And Thomas Cook was part of that posse.
When you think about people who are holding on to power, with everything in their body, I think Karla represents the opposite of that in a lot of ways.
That's so nice. Thank you for vouching for me.
You convinced me. I'll go vote.
May 5th.
Even if you don't vote for anyone else, just roll up.
Yeah, I'm running against Kate Sweeney Bell. Look her up and just, see what her track record is.
Okay.
None. She hides in her office all day.
Well,
I don't.
No, I hear you. No, that's good. No, I'm really for
New voices.
good people in there, and people who are going to listen and stuff like that. And Mayor Joe he screwed a bunch of things up, and
Yeah.
all this sexual harassment scandal.
Yeah.
That's a crock of shit too. That's just.
Yeah.
And the money, the contract, Actually,
Oh yeah, he's doing a lot
Jason
of his buddies.
Larison, the guy who was elected over me, he was also under investigation because he was working at a architectural firm that oversaw contractual work within the office after he was elected. So
Isn't that amazing?
never mind the
How do these things? It's just a coincidence.
it's a coincidence.
Yeah. So I have seen Karla around basically everywhere.
Yeah, because I'm not scared of facing the public.
Actually grinding hard. So I was
Okay.
so I wanted to use my platform to highlight her a little bit.
Okay, well, good for you. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Yay!
Take it from
Thank you.
take it from family.
I will. In fact, I'll put it on my calendar. Election day is what,
May 5th. But you
May
can
5th.
start voting early at the
Oh,
city
that's
council.
right.
Yeah, whenever
building.
you're around, don't stress about it. Just roll up.
From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. you can go to the city county building
I
and
just went
vote.
down and paid my property taxes last week, so I could have voted then. Oh well, that's okay.
Well, early voting started this week.
Can you do early voting anyplace other than city county building?
Not
yeah.
not until the weekend before.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Actually.
Not until the weekend before. But right now, you have basically the whole month to go vote.
Oh, okay. I mean, if I make it downtown on occasion, so
Thank
okay.
you.
All right. No,
Yay!
no,
I'm so happy. I love civic
All right,
engagement.
you got one?
No, because it's our constitutional rights, you know, like what a privilege it is to be able to exercise something that the president is trying to take away from us.
Yeah.
Nationalize the elections, I mean, take over them. Like, what the fuck is that?
This is the first time I've heard you curse today.
Oh my God.
Is talking about voting.
My virgin years.
Sorry.
Oh, listen, I know who you hang around with.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let Joyce know.
Will you text that photo to Anna?
Oh, yeah, I will. I'll do that right now.
Yeah, do it. But we got to wrap up, but it was good to see you.
Okay, yeah.
It's such a nice day outside. Okay, thank you for.
Yeah. You take care.
Hey, good to see you. I'm glad you walked by. It was so funny. I'll hold him to account.
I believe him.
I'll text. Or I get my wife to text him, or his wife. We were recording that entire time, I think, which is really funny.
Hi. Sorry.
Because we have microphones on. If we wanted to keep it on, you could. But
That was awesome.
that's funny that I got to experience that.